OCC Road House in Clearwater, Florida. And tonight, the action is going to be hot. It is WWN Proving Ground Night Mayhem. We've got an awesome crowd of professional wrestling fans who come out to see the action tonight. Numerous superstar showcases, opportunities for talent to show out. But that's not all. Two huge championship matches. First and foremost, the FIP Florida Heritage Championship will be on the line. Stevie Frick defending that championship against the returning Hadar Horvitz. And okay, you saw what happened a month ago to Better Together. You know Hadar is looking for revenge. But how about our main event? It has been weeks and weeks in the making. The WWN Proving Ground Championship is on the line. The dangerous Salazar De La Muerte is going to face Steve Scott tonight. Who will emerge as our WWN Proving Ground Champion? But ladies and gentlemen, that is not all. I am joined here in the ring by the WWN Commissioner, Mr. Rick Thames. Rick, you have some time to make an announcement, sir. Let me hand it over to you, Rick.
Yes, sir, Trevin. Thank you very much, man. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, I would like to address a small point of order here at Proving Ground. It seems lately we have a bit of chaos and confusion going on in here sporadically throughout the evenings. In order to address this, I need an individual to come out of the back. Richard Adonis, can you please step to the front? Stay right there. And now, at this time, I need Jay Sky to come out from the back, please. Jay Sky. See what I mean, folks? The chaos and the confusion between these two guys is not what we need. Each and every week, one of the other is in the ring, the other one has a beef to come out and take care of it right here in the middle of the ring. Tonight, we're going to put a stop to that. You two, Jay Sky, you, Mr. Adonis, you both are on warning. The rest of the night, the rest of our Monday night shows out here, if any one of you involves yourself in the other's match, I will take the liberties to suspend you and you, not only suspend, but fine as well. So from here on out, there is no more interference.
Lucky son of a bitch.
Out of you, no more interference. Jay Sky,
lucky son of a bitch.
No more out of you.
Lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky.
You're lucky.
Don't know where.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Because you know right now, I'll beat her up. You know that. You know that. You know that. Test me. I dare you, Rich. Come on.
Only advice I can give you to Richard, give you, is go back there and focus on your match tonight, kid.
That's official, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if Jay Sky or Richard Adonis get involved in either of their matches or post-matches, 90-day suspension, fines. Definitely don't want none of that, but how about this? You guys want some action? How about that's the action? Here you go, Michael James.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys ready for your opening bout? Without further ado, let's get underway. Our opening contest is a six-man tag team bout set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first.
Stop!
And a total combined weight of 710 pounds, team of Royce, the Shadows, and making a Proving Ground debut, the talented director, Dean Taylor, and Ironside.
So welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ambassador of the World Wrestling Network, Trevin Adams, coming to you from the OCC Road House with WWN Proving Ground, Monday Night Mayhem, a wild way to get things started, and I am really surprised right now that I am looking at Chungus. What is going on, Chungus?
Here's the thing, Trevin. You see, the Emerald Empire, the Emerald Emperor, Simon says, has bought my chance to sit here in this seat tonight on commentary, and whether you or anybody else in WWN likes it, I'm here for the night to keep you in line, all right? I've been hearing you've been talking a lot of smack about Simon Says and the rest of the Emerald Empire, and Chungus isn't going to let that fly tonight.
Well, I'm going to admit, I'm going to probably mind my P's and Q's being this close to you, my friend, but in my mild defense, I've spoken nothing but the truth. But given it's a six-man tag team situation, definitely excited to have you in the booth, Chungus, from your perspective as a multi-time former both WWN Proving Ground Tag Team Champion as well as FIP World Tag Team Champion.
That's right, Trevin Adams. Myself and Scyther Annihilation are absolute masters of tag team wrestling. And I'm excited to see what the rest of this card is. Before I was rudely interrupted by that ring announcer, Michael James, I was trying to say I'm excited to see if there's anybody in this tag team division who's ready to step up and can challenge a tag team like Annihilation.
Well, for sure, Vice and Violence have been a hair away from regaining that WWN Proving Ground Tag Team Championship. A lot of hook or by crook type situations on how those titles have not come back into the fold, but going to be a unique combination here on both sides, to be honest, Chungus.
Yeah, that's right. You see, that Vice and Violence, that's a team that has been in the ring with Annihilation. I can talk about, personally about being in the ring with those two. The rest of these competitors I haven't had a lot of experience with, but we're going to see what happens.
Well, I'm excited to see who gets things started here. Official Jay Taylor gonna definitely need eyes in the back of his head to officiate this matchup. How about that Dean Taylor, really weird guy?
Yeah, and that's coming from me, who's friends and partners with a guy like Scyther, who's a really weird guy.
And indeed, it looks like Dean Taylor going to start things for his team, and of course, Uni Vice, who is probably the wild man of his team as well.
Yeah, a couple of oddballs. And like I said, coming from me, I think that means a lot. A couple of oddballs starting this match.
Hey, don't you want to see him be the lead role? Yeah, give me a star. Give me a star. Come on, leave these guys behind. Give me a star.
What the hell does Dean have? Is that a flashlight?
I think it's a big flashlight. It looked like he tried to pull some sneaky maneuvers, which I could get behind, but it clearly backfired on him here.
At least got Unity to take his eyes off, but indeed able to catch him. You know, I tried to talk to Dean, and it was a very poor conversation. You did the usual, hey, tell me a little more about yourself. How long you been wrestling? Oh, you know, trained by Dean Taylor, wrestling since birth. A good Dean never reveals his age, and a good Dean is getting slammed down. Tandem offense here from Vice and Violence, the established tag team here in this matchup.
Big man going down for the cover here.
Yeah, 2 count only, but Dean pretty quickly was in trouble, and you see tagging the big man, Ironside.
See, that was a smart move. That was a smart move. Get the power man in there to go counterbalance with Vice and Violence's power guy.
I'm loving this, and is Ironside trying to blow off?
Oh, he doesn't want, he's getting out of the ring. You know what, that might be a smart move on his part too.
And now here comes Dean Taylor again. You know, trying to understand Dean Taylor, he's literally a one-man show. He says he works behind the camera in every capacity, but yet he's the star of Dean Taylor Productions. And hold on, the pin from Sam C. You notice you're seeing the good tag team continuity of this team of Samuel C. and Vice and Violence, who I don't believe have teamed before, Chungus.
I don't think so. Like I said, I haven't really seen anything. We talk about the odd combinations here, but they're doing a good job of tagging in and out, trying to keep Dean isolated.
As Dean comes in effect, he's always saying the perfect shot just needs a star, and and I take it back. I guess he doesn't consider himself so much the star. What a bulldog! As the director, or who the hell knows what, man. I'm trying to make sense of Madman as now the big guy.
Yeah, now he's in. You got Sam C in a compromised position. An old Ironside is going to go to work here.
Sam, of course, a veteran, one of his trainers in his near 10 years in the sport. Big tugboat, Freg Upman. Congratulations again to Tugboat on his Hall of Fame induction.
Yes.
Just a few weeks ago. That really made my day.
Well, a tag team legend. The Annihilation we appreciate. We appreciate the great tag teams of the past.
Well, it's a natural disaster right now for the back of Sam C as the large Ironside, trained by Vertigo about a year in the sport, but a beast, man. It's a guy who's obsessed with fighting, wants to inflict pain. Look at just the way the back's being pulled here as Sam finally fights up Chungus.
He's fighting out of it here. You know, I think I've had Vertigo a few times before. It's no fun.
Oh, I'm going to say you're right. That's definitely not fun. But, of course, the wrestler Vertigo, on the other hand.
Right.
Great talent, but that side slam, is this it? Nearly is. Big, beefy man here.
And see, they're doing the opposite now. They're isolating Sam C. They're keeping him here in the corner. Tags in and out. Smart tag team wrestling.
And as Sam is tossed in, Royce Crush Adams in the ring, getting the big boot up.
Sent him for the ride, and he got a boot to the face.
And is this enough? Not quite. Royce up to 7 years in the sport, trained by Jay Lethal. We've seen him in WWN Proving Ground for a long time. As well as places like Real Pro in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Pro, should I say. But this big man, another monster, 6'3".
Yes, the man that myself and Scyther have certainly had our eyes on for a long time. Impressive big man.
And a lovely leg drop. The leg is hooked. 2 count only here. Of course, well documented, taking on the name of Crush, wrestling in his father's memory. Another legend of our sport in Crush. But Royce making his own path right here and trying a bit of a nerve hold on Samuel C, but looks like Sam's finding the adrenaline.
He's got him in a compromised position, but Sam C is coming up from the mat here. He's trying to create some separation.
And a handful of hair, the official, of course, admonishing Royce, but still able to hit that backdrop.
Yeah, it was a smart move there by the big man. He was trying to get away from him, and he wasn't going to let that happen.
And now in the wrong side of town as the enigmatic Dean Taylor comes back.
Now, what's he got in his hand there?
What do you call the director's little, the director's gimmick? I never know what to call it. It's like
like a megaphone, like an amplifier.
Yeah, like it's an old school megaphone. It's a.
You know what he should do?
Oh, we're finding out right now. Hold on.
Your part is cut.
Your part is done. So what should he do?
I see. If I were him, I would have taken it and just nailed him with it, right over the head, Annihilation style.
That would have been a disqualification, but I get your point.
This is what you get for that.
Oh, what a right hand. You know, it's funny. Oh, caught by Samuel C. Critical opportunity for Sam to get to his corner.
And that was a critical mistake by the team of the big man Royce and Dean Taylor. They made that tag, and now, you know, Sam C took advantage. They had the big man there keeping him down.
Dean Taylor tried to insinuate he hangs out with Lexi Gomez, the Hollywood Horror, who, of course, we'll see at Shine. Oof, 82 on May 11th. I don't know if Lexi really would be hanging out, but never say never. I guess she needs a good director sometimes, too. Ooh, what a takedown from the big man. Is this enough to take out Royce? And no, not quite. And, you know, Chunkus, we talked about the history of the sport a little bit. Territory tees where nostalgia meets the ring. It's so awesome to see awesome t-shirts, historical shirts representing championship wrestling from Florida. You got Bruiser, Brody, American Giant, and of course now you got all the logo shirts of the various WWN brands, including WWN Proving Ground.
Yes, WWN Proving Ground, of which Annihilation is multi-time tag team champions. A lot of shirts for territory tees.
Uranagi planting Ironside. Well done by the Brute, and there's another one taking out Dean Taylor.
They are cleaning house on these guys. They gotta figure something out. If I were them, I don't know, throw a thumb in the eye or something. Something to turn it around here.
It might be a triple threat or triple team. Oh no, running sick kick to a prone Royce Adams. Is this the end of the match? It is.
Wow, and that's it. Now, I did not see that coming.
Vice and violence and the society changer, Samuel C.
And congratulations to Vice and Violence and Samuel C. And you can see Royce Adams is angry. He's bumping away Samuel C., but that's 3-on-1, big man.
I'd be upset if I was him too with that. I did not expect the smaller man Sam C to be the one to take down the big man and get the victory there.
Well, it was the isolation on Royce and, Vice and Violence being able to get in there as well. And you could clearly tell, as talented as individuals they are, Dean Taylor, Royce Adams, and of course, Ironside, not a unit. Did not gel very well here tonight as Royce having a conniption leaving to the back.
Wouldn't want to get in his way.
And look at this guy, man. If looks could kill. Even you got him, and you saw that coming down the street, you might think
mug
twice.
Right there, mean mug.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following women's contest is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first. She is from Southampton, New York. This is Anastasia.
Proving Ground rolling on. We got some women's action here. And in fact, speaking of incredibly talented and influential women in the World Wrestling Network, ladies and gentlemen, the dangerous La Brava Escobar. I gotta say the truth.
I love these introductions that you always do whenever I'm on commentary. Thank you so much.
Did you know and you're very welcome. Did you know you were up to 135 days as Shine Tag Team Champion?
You believe it? 2-time Shine Tag Team Champion. Thank you very much.
It's a great point. And talk a moment about what I believe might have you out here, young lady Anastasia. Gonna have a heck of a challenge here tonight in just a moment. We'll see her opponent. Speed Demon BB coming on down here to face Anastasia. These two have been in different, we'll say, combinations of matches with each other, but to my knowledge, facing off for the first time one-on-one for sure here in WWN Proving Ground, where La Brava, as I think you're aware, we will be crowning a WWN Proving Ground Women's Champion in the very near future. We've previewed the championship belt. It is absolutely beautiful.
Let me tell you something, Trevin. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but gold is one of my best accessories to wear, and I know how to wear it very, very well. So, who knows? I'm looking to add some more titles to my collection.
Well, as we've seen before, you often come scout the ladies coming up here in WWN Proving Ground. Of course, I know you have Shine on the mind, Shine 82 on May the 11th, but a little time before we get there, and in the meantime, we're going to see what does Anastasia have. And of course, Speed Demon BB, we've seen how nuts she is. And I say that in a good way. As I sit next to a crazy man here in Chungus.
That's why I wanted to ask you, is that a baseball bat she's got in her hand?
I think so.
I don't know if you call it like a billy club. I'm really not sure. I've been a little intimidated. I talked to her a little bit. She really tried to explain this whole idea of being this inner demon, and that she tries to get in the heads of her opponents. And she's from Eastwick, New Jersey, which is another tough part of town. And really, I think her goal is to, when her opponents lose, have them be scarred and remember her forever in the loss. Which again sounds like the kind of thing you talk about, Chungus, except the people love her.
Well, I was going to say, yes,
no offense.
The mental aspect is very important. If you can find a way to get into your opponent's head the ways that, a man like Scyther or myself can do, then, you're already ahead of the game.
We got things underway right now. John Nunez, our official. Not surprisingly, the people behind Speed Demon BB.
Clear favorite so far.
She's earned it, let's be honest. Talented as she is. But as La Brava can tell you, you don't always need the people behind you to win.
Not always. And it doesn't matter if the people favor me or not. I am still coming out on top.
Beautiful head scissors there. And I already mentioned it earlier, but so much excitement heading into Shine 82 on May the 11th. Of course, you can see Mercedes Martinez, the lady who shocked the world at Shine 81, rejoining with Las Sicarias. You, Ivelisse Velez, Evie De La Rosa. Minds were blown, but obviously some disappointment when the championship changed hands not very long ago. Kelsey Reagan, of course, at her Super Show becoming the Shine champion, will have to defend her championship against Ivelisse Velez. Ooh, wow, quick 2 count there.
That never happened. Just saying, that never happened.
Well, it's a chance. It's a chance for a 5th championship reign for Ivelisse. And if I was Kelsey Reagan, I would be a little nervous having Mercedes Martinez and, of course, you and Evie De La Rosa. I know you guys will be in action as well. All those matches will be announced later this week. So, of course, folks, stay tuned. Wait, pin. Stay tuned to the WWN social media accounts, especially WWN Shine on Twitter, as well as Shine_Wrestling on Instagram.
Absolutely. And once a Sicaria, always a Sicaria. You can mess with one, you mess with all of them.
That really was the situation, as I see a handful of hair here from Anastasia, and does grab on.
What a smart girl.
Yeah, the Speed Demon there, she was really dominating this match so far. And Anastasia, she had to pull that out right there. She had to go to the well for something. She was just getting rocked.
No, it was smart. It was a 2 count only, but now the just choking of this young lady. Tried to talk to Anastasia again this time, and young lady comes. First off, did you realize she married an 87-year-old for his money?
87?
Yeah, wow. She's an elitist from the Hamptons. And, of course, he passed, so the little lady is rich. You should have seen what she rolled up in here. Of course, she wasn't driving. She had a driver. It was I don't even know cars. It was this big fancy thing with logos. I think it's called a Maserati or something. Didn't really understand what I was looking at, but all I know is that there were photographers. People were pushed away on her way in here. And as you saw, even in the locker room, she had her own locker room, and Pink Lake is hooked.
I'm a little speechless right now by that.
She might not drive, but just a second ago, she drove 2 knees right into BB's face, and now she's got her down on the mat. And I don't know, Anastasia's looking good so far here.
I can't deny the talent. About a year in the sport, pretty much took advantage of that opportunity after the older man found his end on this planet. But at the end of the day, if you're that conniving and scheming, if she could turn it into mixing with her talent in the ring, this could be our first WWN Proving Ground Women's Champion.
I'll make sure to keep my eye on her. I like her aggression. She's not giving her any opportunity to breathe. She is staying on her, and that's what you should be doing when you're inside a wrestling ring.
Trevin, you said
hold on, leg hooked.
You said the OGs are passed away. Do we know anything about that situation?
I've been waiting.
I don't know. What I've heard so far, it sounds kind of suspicious.
I've been waiting for an episode of Forensic Files, but it hasn't happened yet. Right. But you're not kidding. When it comes to Speed Demon BB, though, in her 4 years in the sport, another person trained by Vertigo, I mean, she's really gotten around, held championships all over our state, and as we see Anastasia have a little bit of a meltdown, I think it's the youthful exuberance and being used to getting what you want. Not going her way, though. Look at that elbow. Beautifully done by BB. And you're seeing the speed come in here from this talented young lady with the sling blade as well.
She's picking up momentum now. Anastasia's got to do something here.
Speed is coming into play.
It's a fair point, and Anastasia is able to kick out, but at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, is it going to be really the attitude of Anastasia, or is it going to be the talent? And think about this too, Shinto Ryu karate background here for BB. She's actually been sparring at the Twin Towers Classic Tournament. She won first place there. Understanding that's not professional wrestling, but being able to translate it. But, you know, getting your eyes raked and your hair pulled, that you don't quite do in those kind of tournaments. But sunset flip! No way!
Wow, that's all she wrote.
What a surprise. LeBron, I gotta ask you, is this a case where Anastasia might have had the match and she beat herself?
Possibly she might have underestimated the speed even BB, and I've seen BB in action before numerous times, actually just very recently. Speed did come to her advantage this time. Anastasia, better luck next time.
Hey, fair points.
Hey, a well-placed thumb to the eye can always slow anybody down, and that'll be my advice to anybody the rest of the night.
Now, thank you for your professionalism there, Chungus, and of course, thank you for joining us, LaBrava Escobar. We will absolutely look forward to seeing you on May the 11th at Shine 82, and heck, you never know, we might see you the next time we have a women's match here at WWN Proving Ground.
Maybe. I always got to scout the competition, don't I, Trevin?
Hey, we appreciate it.
Of course.
Awesome.
Contest is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first.
But if you're wondering why Michael James is outside of the ring, you might not have noticed at the beginning of the event, he has a, I think it's what, sprained ankle? He's got a whole boot on. He can barely get in and out of the ring.
That is what I heard.
Trent is going to take over.
Chungus, I'm going to tell you, I actually wondered if I was going to come up here to Benji Neptune. It seems anytime I think I'm alone in the booth, somebody shows up. More than once, Benji's come up here, and he seems to always have to run away, whether he's selling a house, selling a mattress, being a life coach. His goal tonight actually is to show Trent Edwards, here's how you do it in singles action. Watch and learn. Well, it's going to be a tall order for Benji Neptune here tonight.
And her opponent.
Of course, Jay Sky, Richard Adonis, these two, their issue has not only continued, they have, pretty much any time they're in the same building, whether it's after a match, during a match, backstage, these two have been at each other. Our WWN commissioner kicking things off tonight and letting both Jay and Richard know you get involved during the match, after the match. You go anywhere near each other tonight, I got news for you, 90-day suspension, fines, and who knows what else. And so my expectation, Chungus, is we're not going to see Richard Adonis in this matchup. Of course, we'll see him in action later. I hope these two young men are smart enough to actually heed that warning, because you've been fined before and you know it sucks.
Yeah, I know what happens when you get on the wrong side of WWN officials. You see, I've been seeing what's going on with these two, and it's hard for me to understand coming from such a solid tag team relationship with my partner. You see, I don't understand all this bickering and this fighting, this infighting.
Well, you know what? I will actually respect that point. Not only has your tag team partner had a hand in your training since day one, you two have really been together. Of course, Gator Roberts debuting here in a WWN ring as our official. Man I've seen before. Great official. Going to have to obviously keep a close eye on Benji and Trent Edwards. Not that I'm implying anything there. Jay Sky now, you're going to see some fundamentals. Been hanging out at the Fighting Spirit Academy with guys like Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson, James Drake, and Benjy, on the other hand, had a great counter there, Chungus.
Yeah, he came right back there countering that wrist lock. You see, Benji's another guy that me and Scyther have had a lot of time in the ring with, and I've sort of really enjoyed his attitude change as of late. And I think
you would.
Well, you know me and Scyther, and you see, I think what he's got to do here is don't worry about this wrist lock stuff. I think he just needs to punch Jay Sky right in the face.
Well done. Got the arm. Bit of a key lock here. Watch the shoulders as well. Benji's going great at it. You got to keep in mind Benji's street cred, man. Not just being a CrossFit Level 1 coach, an Olympic weightlifter. He even was doing amateur wrestling from 10 to 19 years old. So Benjy can go in a lot of ways that I think a lot of people don't expect.
He can hurt you in a lot of ways, and he can win a match in a lot of ways.
And that's Benji's goal, as stated. He wants to show we can do singles. He's a 3-time WWN Proving Ground Tag Team Champion. But this is a singles opportunity here. And, of course, Jay Sky, like you said, formerly a tag team champion in the Rapture, also looking to build that singles future here as Benjy tries to get through into a sunset flip.
Oh, that was close.
Every official has a different cadence here, and these guys are going to have to get used to Gator Roberts. Flying head scissors. How about Jay Sky for a big guy? And you resemble this. I'm going to give you the compliment you deserve. You can fly just like Jay Sky. Jay Sky can fly way better than you would expect for your size.
That's right, Trevor. No, I can give him props there. That was a wild Hurricane Rana. He's got Benji time. Oh,
Trent Edwards. What did I say?
That was a smart, well-placed foot grab there. Can Benji take advantage?
And you gotta watch that knee, now targeted by Benjy. You saw Jay Sky landing poorly, and Benji's immediately the attack and a lariat to the back of the head. And is this already a knockout blow? Not quite.
Now he's got to get on him here. He's got to really, really grind on him. He's got an opportunity to take advantage and really keep Jay Sky down here.
Of course, Jay, 1-1 on his series with Richard Adonis. Adonis was victorious most recently at FIP Established Dominance about a month ago, but
don't bring it up. That whole show just gives me flashbacks I don't want to talk about right now, Trevin.
Yeah, speaking of which, I was hanging out a little over a week ago in Las Vegas with Rich Swan and LJ Cleary, our FIP World Tag Team Champions, bringing those belts over to Ireland soon. But hey, no dig, you guys were phenomenal tag champs, and I'm sure if the Emerald Emperor has his way, you will be in line sooner than later to get that rematch.
That's right, sooner rather than later.
The front chancery applied here by Benji Neptune. Good ring positioning, but if Jay Sky figures out where he is, may be able to struggle to the ropes.
His legs are a little close there. Benji's really working the mat game in this one. He's really trying to grind Jay down here.
And of course, as we know, Benji is top to bottom in phenomenal shape. He's got the strength, he's got the gas tank, but Jay Sky, you can see just throwing those strikes in, but Benji firing him back.
And Jay's got that size advantage. I mean, he's got several inches on Benji Neptune. He's hammering those forearms down on him from up high.
Definitely can make a difference. Benji, of course, used to having to fight taller men, but that size differential is working well for Jay Sky.
Boosting him up into a fireman's carry here.
Good for Benji, able to escape here, and now using the size to his own advantage, and wow, I can't believe he hit that back suplex.
That's a Benji Neptune special right there, the big back suplex.
Is it enough? Not quite, but you can see the damage being done to the back. Neptune is now going for the pin again. I'm sorry to interrupt, Chungus.
Benji's definitely had a game plan here, and he's sticking to the game plan.
Hey, 2 pins didn't work. I'm going to now try to choke the man.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Well, if there's anybody that really epitomizes fitness, we've talked before about Zone Fitness, man. If you're in Carrollwood, if you're in Trinity, man, this is the place to go. Chungus, you know this. As a guy who, just like me, man, as a guy who the first time you saw a gym, you're like, what in the hell am I supposed to do? Getting that mentorship, that's what you need from places, and that's what Zone Fitness has. You come in, there's great coaches, clean equipment, and the best of all, the prices are great. Of course, you can see zonefitnessclub.com. You want to be a level 1 CrossFit instructor like Benji Neptune one day, a power lifter,
I was gonna say,
or just get
like Benji,
or just get healthy. That's the thing. I go to the gym just to be healthy, my friend. Oof. Because you can see, you've seen me before. I definitely am not the spitting image of muscles like Benji, but by gosh, I definitely passed the physical. But right now, power on display of Jay Sky tossing over Benji Neptune.
That was a big move there, but you see, he can't take advantage. He can't capitalize because Benji has stuck to his game plan, and he has worn down Jay Sky here.
It's a great point from that perspective. As the count is applied here, I would expect these guys are going to answer the 10 count, but You've been in this kind of position. What goes through your mind? Do you think I need a moment to breathe, or you see something like that and go, crap, I got to get up?
Well, a lot of times when it comes to me, we're in a different tag team situation, so I'm thinking, all right, how can I get to my partner? If I'm in this position, I need to make a tag. What do I have to do to get to my partner and take advantage of the situation?
Great point. Go for the one, and the chamber does hit it. But Benji with the wherewithal to get over near the ropes. I don't know if Jay realizes how close Benji is to the ropes.
I think he does. He hooks that arm, though.
And
oh!
Thank you, Trent Edwards. But our official caught you, buddy, so what's going to happen?
Did he catch him? I don't know what happened. All I know is that Benji Neptune got his foot on the rope.
You're right. I can't tell. I thought Gator had his eyes on, but right now Gator seems to be saying, you know what? I'm not really sure what happened. It's always tough when you're debuting for the first time, especially in some of this Clearwater humidity. It's great if you're in the crowd with the fans, but in the ring, as you know, the lights are hot, and that heat right there could have taken out Jay Sky.
Oh, man, face first. I thought he had him there.
And I've definitely enjoyed the talent that we've seen grow in Benji. I know you like the attitude. I don't like the attitude, but I can't argue with success. And a win here tonight for Benji, that'll be big, as Benji tries to muscle over Jay Sky.
Big for Benji Neptune, big for Neptune's Trident. He's trying to muscle him over, but I don't think he can get it. Nope.
Like strength of Jay Sky able to stop Benji, but a quick takedown by Benji, and Benji again going. I'm not sure, are we heading into a Boston Crab, or where are we going?
Got him in the center of the ring. If he can turn it over, this could be it.
Jay is desperately trying to fight off Benji, and as you stated, it was good ring positioning again by Benji. But those big boots, what do you think those are, 12s, 13s?
Not as big as mine.
I can't argue with that. Oh, quick roll up. Shoulders are down, but a 2 count only. And sometimes a small package is all it takes. Only is 3 seconds getting rid of Trent Edwards.
Now, what'd you have to go and do that for? Come on.
Well, I don't know.
Trent was minding his own business on the outside.
At that moment, maybe it was 2-on-1 multiple times in this matchup, and Jay Sky does hit the second kick.
Oh, Benji's in trouble here.
And could be.
Double underhook into the face smash. Oh, no. Benji.
Calls it the Ghouls win, and that is the end. Ghouls wings, that is.
Ghouls wings.
A little bit of a Freudian slip on the win. Nevertheless, a very competitive matchup here. I like what I saw, and I'll give it to Benji, fighting a bigger man, pushing Jay Sky to the limit. But you got to ask yourself, Chungus, is just having to see Richard Adonis earlier, knowing Richard's here and that Jay can't touch him, was that a motivator? Was that the adrenaline Jay needed?
It could have fired him up. It could have been, all right, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show that I am the better man, no matter what anybody says.
Definitely building more momentum here in the World Wrestling Network. And of course, Benji back to the drawing board, but never underestimate Neptune's Trident, like you mentioned. Oh gosh. Glad I'm up here with you. Never thought I'd say those words.
Never thought I'd hear them.
Ladies and gentlemen, following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 60-minute time limit, and it is for the FIP Florida Heritage Championship. Introducing first. She just wants to put
Chungus, I can't blame you, but I can blame the Emerald Empire, but I'm gonna have to use my words cautiously. It was the Emerald Empire. You had Jonathan Hudson, Sick Stevie Frick, Brian Brock against Better Together and Rich Ayala in a 6-man battle. Of course, a week before, Better Together had pushed you, then FIP World Tag Team Champions, along with your partner Scyther, to the limit. But that 1 week later, that 6-man, the post-match attack, the damage done to Ori Gold. Not only was Hadar injured for weeks, but we still don't know when Ori Gold will be back. And I know, of course, you'll have your own excuses for why, but
just wait.
I just, in my opinion, it's one thing to defeat an opponent. It's another thing to try to hurt somebody like that. And as you know, Bridgeport Ayala has been chasing the Emerald Emperor, Simon says. And I know Simon doesn't appreciate this, but first Rich submitted a video to us of Rich Port Ayala trying to get a hold of Simon. But just this past weekend, I saw on social media numerous camera angles. I don't even know where the hell they were, some events somewhere else. These guys tried to get into a brawl. People had to pull them apart. And really, I'd argue, your boss man was really kind of hiding away from Bridgeport Ayala.
Well, what I keep noticing about this whole situation is Rich takes advantage of when Annihilation is not around.
Hey, fair point. Well, tonight, sick Stevie Frick defending that Florida Heritage Championship, and it would be apropos if Hadar Horvitz, in honor of Ori Gold, could take that championship from sick Stevie Frick. Well, let's send it down to Michael James for the official introductions of our competitors.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first the challenger, standing to my right, representing Better Together. He hails from Tel Aviv, Israel, weighing out 180 pounds, Hadar Horvitz. And his opponent, representing the Emerald Empire, he hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing in at 234 pounds. He is the reigning and defending FIP Florida Heritage Champion, sick Stevie Frick.
Again, I'm going to watch my words because I know Simon paid to have you here to keep me in line, and honestly, you've been surprisingly polite to me, and I'm not complaining, but I know you could murder me. And wasting no time here. Hadar Horvitz is going right after sick Stevie Frick. This match hasn't even begun yet. The official, John Nunez, was just in the process. Ring the bell. We're underway here. Was just under the process of holding up the championship to say this is what it's about. And the point I was going to make when it comes to the Heritage Championship, 107 days as champion, still will never condone the way that sick Stevie Frick won that championship. I've been told to watch my words of how I describe what happened, but we'll just say he aligned with you all in the Emerald Empire, defeating Sideshow in his near 900-day reign. But nevertheless, the reign could be about to end for sick Stevie Frick.
Sick Stevie Frick, he made the right choice. He did what he had to do to level up here at FIP. You see, I want to make a point. Emerald Empire is the group and the best team here because, see, I'm here supporting my brother. Where's Ori Gold, huh? Where's Ori Gold to support Hadar Horvitz in this big title match? He's nowhere to be found, but I'm here for sick Stevie Frick.
So you've forgotten March the 31st when you tried to end the career of Ori Gold, who had been rushed to the hospital, as Hadar now going outside of the ring. Remember the heinous attack I talked about to kick this thing off?
I know. And whatever, regardless of the injuries, you see, I am here for sick Stevie Frick, and Ori Gold is not here for his brother, Hadar Horvitz.
No, there's no lie to that part. As they got to watch this count here, the count out will do no favors for Hadar Horvitz. I know Hadar here obviously would love to win the gold, especially again in honor of his brother from a different mother, Ori Gold. But at the end of the day, I think Hadar's just looking to get a modicum of revenge against you guys.
Hey, and if he's looking for that, he can keep on looking, because he's not going to find nothing but more beatdowns. He's going to find his shoulders pinned to that mat again, and it's just going to keep on happening.
Well, the complexion of the match has now changed, being dumped head first. Well done by Stevie Frick, able to stop the momentum of Hadar Horvitz. And as you know well, you let sick Stevie Frick, the brawler, control the pace of the matchup. He's going to dissect you. He's just going to beat the pulp out of you.
That's exactly right. See, Hadar, he tried to jumpstart this. He tried to keep things fast and moving. He tried to wear out Stevie Frick, but he's too smart, he's too strong, he's too powerful, and now he's got Hadar right where he wants him.
And Frick continuing to bring the pain to Hadar, who's in phenomenal shape, but lateral press not enough to keep down Hadar. The problem is, and you know this well, you can train all day, you can get in literally looking like chiseled from stone shape like Hadar Horvitz, who's now, of course, coming off this injury, but you get into the ring, the physicality, the heat where we are, the humidity, it's all different. You can't prepare for this.
Yeah, there's nothing that can prepare you for what happens when you get in that ring, but myself and Scyther try to get as close as we can, and we find a little bit of demolition, a little bit of destruction can get you prepped for just about anything.
Can't argue with that. You guys are definitely talented. The right hand there, that's the problem with the Emerald Empire. You're all damn talented, but that's one of the things I don't like is the levels you'll stoop. And the body of Hadar Horvitz just driven through the mat.
Big side slam. Oh, and he kicked out. Come on, Stevie.
It was close. You see the official again, John Nunez, calling this marquee matchup here. FIP Florida Heritage Championship match. He's, of course, talked about the history of the Florida Heritage Championship. People like Anthony Green, John Davis, Martin Stone, heck, Lindsay Dorado. And of course, the first ever champion, Eric Stevens. And that's just a sample of the 20 champions that we have had here representing the heritage, as the name implies, of the state of Florida.
Stevie Frick's gonna keep carrying on that heritage forever and ever and ever.
Trying to fight, get away here. Hadar needs to create some separation. And the physicality of the matchup, Chungus, has definitely taken the effect on both men, really given their playbook perhaps a change, if you will.
Yeah, both men are worse for wear already into this match.
Oh man, what a spine buster.
Big power move.
The height of that, the leg is hooked.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Not sure if that was adrenaline, if that's just pure refusing to quit. I'm worried about the shape of the back of Hadar Horvitz. I got to restate here, Chungus, the height of that spine buster. I mean, that was almost the entire body.
Yeah, he was up above that top rope before he came down hard.
And Frick, man.
What a game face on 6 Stevie Frick.
You said it. He's a beast. Frick is a beast, a total different man than I once knew. Unapproachable at this point. I go nowhere near this man. Of course, if Scyther was next to you, I'd probably have ran away as well. You're probably the only person who knows how to communicate with Scyther. You guys are definitely intimidating. Pretty much everybody in the Emerald Empire. I'm trying to think if there's a single one of you that I'm not pretty much glad I have dark pants on whenever I'm anywhere in the proximity. Really, the only person might be Simon Says, and that's the hardest part there is my eyes get tired.
That's the thing. Even Simon's a killer, and you don't even know it.
I'm not saying Simon couldn't beat the crap out of me. I'm just saying my eyes get tired for the number of times I have to roll them when Simon starts making some of these claims.
All right.
Say it politely, but no, Simon, I think a lot of people do underestimate the danger of Simon in the ring. Heck, I mean, he technically won you tag team gold.
That's right. These guys are just slugging it out in the middle of the ring.
Leg does not connect. Second heel does, though. And Hadar, maybe there's some signs of life. And, oh, beautiful forearm. Oh, but he strikes. Little Pele action as well. And a kippa.
Oh, no. This isn't looking good. Hold on.
What do you mean, hold on? Where the hell are you going? What the hell? Chungus just jumped off of the stage and is running down. The official's distracted. Come the hell on. Chungus is holding it. Oh, no. The malfunction at the junction, the roll-up. Do we have a new champ? No. I cannot believe this, Chungus. Oh, but the spear. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. God. I should have known that Chungus would be incapable of sitting here and not getting involved in this matchup. I gotta ask, was this the plan? I know you're watching Emerald Empire. Was this the plan all along? And come on, now this post-match attack, this is absolutely unnecessary here. Are they gonna try to hurt Hadar Horvitz the way they hurt Ori Gold? Absolutely detestable. The actions of the Emerald Empire, yet again. The official can barely stop these guys. Can we make this end, please? We need security. Wait, who is that? Ori Gold! Ori Gold is in the house, and frickin' Chungus had no idea. This is phenomenal, Ori Gold. I thought he was injured. I thought Ori Gold was still in the hospital after we were so worried about the neck, and a beautiful super kick rocking Chungus. And there's another, and we're going to get some stereo, I think, here. Indeed, Chungus taken down, and big man leaving the broadcast booth, getting involved, ultimately helping Stevie Frick get the victory. But at the end of the day, could not have happened to a better group of guys. So glad to see Ori Gold still holding his neck, but surprising us all, I'm positive not cleared for action, but able to save Hadar Horvitz from a post-match beating that, again, Chungus saving the day for Stevie Frick. That distraction ultimately allowing Frick to hit the spear and the victory for Stevie Frick. But I think the bigger story here is Ori Gold back, Hadar Horvitz getting the last laugh with Ori Gold better together. You and I both know it's a matter of time before they get their hands on the Emerald Empire.
We're the best champion over here. We're coming for the Empire. We're coming for everything. Because nobody is better.
Good to see Ori Gold with the spirit. I was so worried about this young man, let alone the injury to Hadar back on the 31st, but I really thought Ori Gold was going to be out for a long, long time. What a way, what a first half of WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem here. This has been awesome so far. We appreciate you whether you're joining us right now on Facebook, on YouTube, watching on Club WWN on demand. We still got a ton more to come here tonight.
Contest is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first. Weighing in at 255 pounds, he is the big Italian banger, Iron Jiro.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem continuing on. This is Trevin Adams. I am joined by our WWN Commissioner, Rick Thames. Rick, what do you think about this Iron Jiro?
He's something to look at there, bud, for sure. Newcomer here to Proving Ground, and he's here to prove what he's got.
An absolute physical specimen. Has a very impressive background in boxing. We'll talk more about that in a moment.
And his opponent. He hails from Clearwater, Florida. Weighing at 203 pounds,
Donati in the house. Got to give a shout out to his Uncle Tony for his entrance theme. I'm a big fan of Tony Donati and his just pure, how do you put it? It's almost a throwback, Rick, when it comes to his in-ring style and the talent from this young man.
I love Tony. He brings a little bit of the old school, actually a lot of the old school ways about himself. Tony Donati, he's definitely championship material. I followed him for quite a few years now, and he's got what it takes for sure.
Big size disparity here. Our official Gator Roberts gonna have to keep his eyes on Iron Jiro. Of course, Iron Jiro, as mentioned, that background. Former Golden Glove champion, Italy boxing champion. And as you just saw right there, size advantages, we already pointed out.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get himself suspended with the boxing tactics, if you will, he should be all right.
Yeah, it's going to be on the official here to keep an eye out on where we may or may not see a closed fist. I know that's often one of those things that I think's got a little more lax in our sport, and I'll respect that. Things evolve. Beautiful headlock there. Side headlock, but countered. Well done by Donati. able to now take the bigger man, and this is going to be those fundamentals that Donati's so tight on. Over 6 years in our sport, we've watched him grow up upon our eyes here in WWN.
Tony's got the basics and the fundamentals down pat, and as long as you have that in your back pocket, you're pretty safe against any opponent.
And like we already pointed out, when it comes to just the history of the sport and throwbacks, I mean, that's territory tees, man, where nostalgia meets the ring. One of those shirts, Rick Thames, I've seen you with, that Bruiser Brody. What a shirt. Oh, phenomenal. Yeah.
And the old school Eddie Graham, 106 North Albany.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, all that championship wrestling from Florida memorabilia. Of course, championship wrestling from Florida coming back on May the 9th. We'll have more info about that in the future. And we've talked before about, the American Giant, and then the various logo tees, including WWN Proving Ground, all that territory tees. When you think about the bygone era, our history, Pin, I just love the retro-inspired shirts, because really both of these guys in their own way have that throwback style. You got Tony from the mat, and let's be honest, Iron Jiro, would you believe him in 1980s professional wrestling? Look at the size of this guy.
Yeah, the likes of the Sheik, maybe. I think I heard Ron Nemi mention Mike Awesome.
Hey, that's a good analogy right there. Awesome.
Young Mike Awesome. I can agree with that.
No question. As here comes Donati, springboard, the kick into the bigger man. That's what Donati's going to have to do if he's going to be able to find a way to keep down Jiro.
He's going to have to stay on top of him, Trevor.
No question. When Jiro's on the mat, he's a lot less dangerous, and Donati knows it.
He's on a roll.
But not able to keep him down for even 2 seconds. Jiro able to kick out so quickly.
Yeah, he's going to have to break him down, Trevin. From here, he's just going to have to keep chopping. Like a big tree, just take him down, one bite at a time.
We just saw the chop thrown by Jiro, and now the short arm lariat. Offense I've seen you throw before, Rick. Jiro currently training with Devon Dudley. I'm sure Devon's enjoyed the size of this young man, trying to help mold the Italian. But what I've noticed about Jiro is and you're kind of seeing it, there's a certain confidence. Yeah, watch those gut punches, heart punches, kidney punches. Jiro trying to intimidate the official. That name, Iron Jiro, really comes from his favorite finisher, the Iron Punch. By the way, all caps. Anything Jiro puts a name on, it's all caps.
Interesting.
That's got to stand out more. But Tony Donati starting to make that fight coming on back. He's held tag team gold in 7 different promotions, but this is a singles match and a hellacious landing. Was that a 720 spine buster? Might be it.
Looked good, whatever it was, Trevin.
A lot of oxygen coming out of the body of Donati, and now the back being targeted as well by Jiro.
Donati's got to pull himself together here. He can't allow himself to be succumbed by the power and the strength of a newcomer like this.
And I don't know if so much as that was Tony kicking out as it was he was still having convulsions from the damage done to the back now as the oxygen being cut off here. And Rick, you've been there before, both as an official and of course as a competitor. At what point are we in a choke situation here? Because this looks pretty tight.
Well, the choke situation comes along when you can't breathe, Trevin. And what do you do? What do you do when your oxygen is taken away from you? You fight. You fight for it back, and that's what Tony's got going on there.
Desperation, the roll-up, not enough, though. Schoolboy quickly got the big man down, but you saw Jiro recovering and just dumping Donati to the apron. A lot of bad things can happen here, and brakes put on. And now it's Jiro's time to go head first. Do you think Donati is going to be able to fly off and take this big man down? Oh, what a kick.
Taking the high-risk moves. When you land them, they're great.
But like a horror movie, Jiro's back to his feet, Rick. You hear WWN Faithful getting behind Donati with that quick DDT. The leg is hooked, but Jiro stays in this thing.
Got to stay on him, Tony. Can't let him get a second wind. If you do on this guy, you might get knocked out.
I talked before about the beginning of Donati's career, the late great Francisco Chiazzo, his first trainer, and then spending some time with Matt Seidel and Ricky Marvin. And you've seen Donati, as stated, all over the sport, coming back to Proving Ground in the last couple months, but this might be a bad end for Donati. are we going to see
Found
here?
himself in a bad situation.
We're in a gory special. No, rolling through and could have been a mistake there. Trying for the sunset flip, does. The pin, he got him.
Clean win, Trevin, clean win.
Here is your winner, Tony Twist Donati.
You said it. The clean win by Donati, and Donati telling the official, keep that big man back. I think Iron Jiro just found out. He was out-wrestled, out-fought. Might not have been outpowered. Honestly, it looked like Jiro could have went for another 20 minutes here, Rick, but.
Smart move, Tony. He needs to go ahead, take your win, and get on out.
100%. The way to handle things here. Tony Donati showing experience is the difference maker here. Iron Jiro, another week.
Not too happy.
Another week coming up short, trying to jaw jack with the WWN faithful. Of course, Jake St. Patrick victorious last week against this big man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first.
Definitely a matchup I am very, very excited for here.
Money.
Weighing out 190 pounds.
Or is that funny money?
Now somebody's money turned him into the trust fund kid, as we have lived through in current events. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you know what you're doing, but.
As we've seen, Trevin, he has every brand name throughout his whole attire.
Got to give it, though, to this young man. Blake Banks keeps getting better and better. And what I like tonight, I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed to know me a little more, but less likely for distractions. Sorry, he's still yelling about his fancy clothes. Less likely to have distractions, less likely to have interference, but a big opportunity to beat one of our top stars in Proving Ground.
He's advertising his Gucci and his Louis Vuitton. He's proud of that.
I don't think those companies do affiliate links.
Hey!
From the 305, representing the Miami Boys, he is the highest man in your city, the
Incredibly talented and popular, as you can tell here, Baby Keef.
Yes, Trevin, the crowd here at OCC Road House here in Clearwater, Florida, absolutely love Baby Keef. They find a few things in common with Baby Keef.
They do or you do?
They do.
Okay, I was curious. I didn't know. I've been talking.
I get along with Baby Keef just fine. There's nothing wrong there for sure.
Showing respect to our official Jay Taylor, who's showing why he is not a good dancer as Blake Banks steals camera number one.
I respect great talent, and one thing you can't take away from Baby Keef is his talent.
And I was going to bring up the point. I'm still trying to figure out, this is a rather flat state. So if this was like, I don't know, Colorado, we were in Denver. I don't understand, being the highest man in your city. Someone will have to explain that to me one day. But kidding aside here.
Well, the mountains all started from a hill at one point.
Good answer. I love it. I love it as Baby Keef, not only crowd favorite, has really been turning heads here, but, Rick, as you know, been having some issues with the atomic formula here.
Yeah, Trevin. The atomic formula, Brian Atomic, Tiny Tenali, they found themselves taking the week off. I ran across Lemuria and the Atomic. It looked like they were breaking into a vehicle or something. I don't know, but I don't know what they were up to. But anyway, before I could suspend Lemuria, they decided to take a week off, so I couldn't get to them. But I did put Brian Atomic and Tiny on notice, and they're not here this week, Trevin.
Hey, I understand, and that's the thing. WWN Commissioner Rick Thames does not mess around. Don't expect to see any Atomic Formula problems here tonight. A beautiful head scissor takedown by Blake Banks, but the escape from Baby Keef.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm trying to get a hold of the confusion and the chaos that happens here, and you know, getting involved in others' matches. We come here everybody's looking for a championship, and if you can't stay out of another's match, you're just causing issues and problems here. And that's one thing I need to get a hand. I'm getting a handle on it, and it starts right there with them, Lemuria and Atomic.
Hey, we appreciate it. Leadership from the top here, and indeed, you've already made a difference here tonight. But right now, springboard into a sunset flip. 2 count only, though. Baby Keef, so athletic. The speed, the way this man can fly, and of course, Blake Banks can move as well, and a great counter into the pin.
Close.
Keep in mind, Blake. Oh, wait, another pin. I love this. Both men going for those quick takedowns, and unfortunately for Baby Keef there, may just had his guts punched through. The boot catching Blake Banks, and both athletes about 4 to 5 years in the sport, the Hurricanrana.
Caught him in the kisser.
And that kick, well done. When it comes to Baby Keef, I'm telling you, Rick, this guy can fly, he can float, he can defy gravity.
Well, I think he's learned a little bit from Puma. Incorporated the 305 all together. They learn from each other. They feed off of each other. And you can kind of see a little bit of each other in each individual of that team. I love the 305.
You're definitely right. The Miami boys, running buddies, training buddies, and they're not afraid to get in there and compete against each other. But Blake Banks, handful of hair out of the corner. You know, I was about to give Blake Banks some credit. Found his way to get out of the way, but then, Rick, pulling the damn hair.
All right.
Shortcuts for Blake Banks. As talented as Banks is, this drives me nuts. A hair away so many times from singles gold, was a former ACW tag team champion here in WWN. But
exactly, Blake, he's a champion in himself. Just look at him. Look at the way he carries himself, the confidence that he shows in the ring. He is a champion in and of himself.
In his own mind, for sure, no question. And again, as talented as the young man is, he wants the singles gold, but you gotta get on the straight and narrow, and you're seeing here instead just ripping at the face, 5 count being applied.
Well, you take a hat pin and you pop his head and let some of that air out of it.
And some of this is youth, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I can't hold it against him.
The whole concept of NIL and, you know, the name, image, likeness, and a lot of these young men and women, they're in that world where between social media influencers and seeing college sports now allowing people to have their own brands, and, you know, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but in my mind, there's a kind of a pureness to the sport and why we do it, as opposed to how can I sell sneakers. But then again, I'm not rich and they are, so who am I to speak? But for Blake, he, other than that trust fund, isn't as rich as he would like, and I think that's his goal here, is to make the name in professional wrestling.
Yeah, well, I think the money's gone to his head, Trevin.
The best gear, the best training, but now it's got to translate here, and what a kick to the small of the back.
In this business, leading with your wallet is only going to take you so far. You can only pay off so many referees or attempt that before it comes back to bite you. Pretty soon, your money's no good.
You see Blake Banks paying attention to the WWN faithful. As much as he's doing a good job at the chin lock there,
he's holding Keef. He's holding him down.
And now wrenching it in as well, but still you got to wonder if it was just the intensity and having your eye on your opponent. Would Blake be doing that much better right now?
We'll just have to wait and see.
And I hear the "you can't wrestle" chants. I don't know what Blake's gonna think about that, but might not get a chance to think, because Baby Keef starting to fight back with the snapmare quickly into a cravat. Unique.
When you start hearing that chant, they're chanting for Baby Keef. that means Blake is getting under their skin. They're tired of seeing them do the things, the awful things that they're doing to their
favorite. And Jay Taylor's there on the scene, keeping an eye out, making sure that Baby Keef not submitting. I would think it'd be very unlikely. And now in the corner,
Keef is deprived of oxygen. Look, you can tell he's a little weak. Got to get your air back, bud.
The oxygen just gets lower the higher you go. Oh, an amazing springboard forearm knocking Keef to the floor.
That wasn't positive.
And we've talked about this before. Those look like mats out there, my friend. They are not much protection.
One thing I wanted to bring up here at Proving Ground, there are no mats. Once you hit the floor, that's what you get, Trevin, is the floor.
It really is. It barely covers the concrete. That's there to keep the wires
exactly
protected.
That's not even no cushion whatsoever there.
Blake pretending, I guess he's a boxer now.
Well, he's got Keef in a vulnerable position. He's taking his time. Getting his air back is what he's doing. Keeping Keef deprived of his. He's looking for a finish. What happened?
She pulled me down!
Trevin. I didn't see anything.
Blake Banks is blaming a fan, and while the official is distracted, now is choking.
Turn around, ref, turn around.
I think Blake is using the hair of Baby Keef to support the choke, and the damage is being done, and now Jay Taylor finally seeing what's happening here. Face is being ripped. And as much as the official has admonished Blake Banks, no disqualification means the damage has been done to Keef, and this match continues.
Blake is desperate. He's got desperation written all over him.
I have never seen a wrestler try to blame a fan in the front row, and the fact the referee took the bait blows my mind.
You see new things all the time. You're right. Caught me on that one. I was looking around. What?
And the 305 chance being mocked now by Blake Banks, who does have Baby Keef where he wants him, but I think Blake is given a little too much time. The jaw-jacking the right hand here, and when it comes to the World Wrestling Network, we love coming to you every Monday with WWN Proving Ground, but it is all about the premium live events, and especially on May 11th in just a few short weeks is I'm not even going to describe what Blake is mocking there. We got Shine 82. You see Mercedes Martinez shocking us at Shine 81 with her return. An alliance with La Sicaria. She will see the new Shine champion, Kelsey Reagan, in her first defense on WWNLive.com, defending against Ivelisse Velez in a rematch, and so much more. WWNLive.com for all those details. Again, Sunday, May the 11th, right here live at the OCC. As you know, Rick, you gotta be here live. You gotta experience Monday Night Mayhem. Ooh, what a chin breaker.
Shine is all elite. Those women are top notch. There is nothing like no other.
And it's great opportunities to meet the talent. If there's any of the ladies you've never had the opportunity to meet, or for this matter, these guys too. If you're here at a WWN event, up close and personal, you get to meet the talent. But by gosh, pulling the hair again here, Rick, by Blake Banks. Out of control, man.
Nothing like a live pro wrestling event. You see things you don't normally see on your television.
I'm wondering if Banks is out right there, hitting that turnbuckle.
Crowd's getting back behind Keef. That's all he needs. He's coming up.
You called it, sir. The adrenaline is flowing for Baby Keef here.
He feeds off of that. He fuels.
The elbow, and you heard how hard that clothesline hit as well. A hell of a leg lariat. Flexibility and the height advantage here for Baby Keef.
That's all he needed was his air, his oxygen.
And a flurry of offense continues here from Keef, the kick to the back of the head, the neck breaker. But Rick, as you can see, Baby Keef is showing the effects of this matchup.
He's tired, Trevin. Blake Banks has took him to school. But the match is not over. They're both laying down. They're both even at this. Look at here. Keef is up.
At the 5 count, Baby Keef. You said it, the signs of life. Looking to head to the top.
They're buying time for oxygen. They're both giving out.
Baby Keef knows that airdrop, his swanton senton out of the corner, but Blake Banks is back.
He escaped.
And a charging in Banks is caught by Keef as these athletes tangling up here. I'm curious to see what Banks had in mind. Blocked the tilt-a-whirl, hit the flying knee, and could be a minute. I think Banks is thinking trust fund kick, and no, caught with a heel.
Keef has pulled that out, Trevin. He is whooped. He's giving it everything he's got right now.
So many talents have been defeated with the trust fund kick, but it may be time for some air miles here with the air drop.
Nice.
Connecting from Keith, and this
You
is...
could do it right there, Trevin.
Indeed, it did.
Here is your winner, the young
One heck of a battle here. WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem here. Both athletes, Rick, they left it in the ring.
Something to be proud of for sure. That's one of the greatest things about here at Proving Ground. Each and every match takes 100% of these guys to put on what they put on.
Especially athletes of this caliber. I meant what I said before this matchup. Two of the top stars in all of WWN Proving Ground. Really, the World Wrestling Network in general. You've seen these athletes both on Full Impact Pro as well, and they pushed each other to the limits. Still saw some of those shortcuts from Blake Banks, but at the end of the night, as impressive as Banks was, it was all baby Keith.
Both of them had something to prove, and by gosh, they surely did it.
A little bit of crowd interaction there from Blake Banks.
You two haven't style anymore! You should have been kicked out of here! You should have been kicked out of
We'll roll on.
following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first.
You can see Richard Adonis, foul look on his face, as you just heard mentioned by WWN Commissioner Rick Thames. Kicking things off tonight here, WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem. Rick Thames had the announcement. He called out Richard Adonis. He called out Jay Sky. He said, gentlemen, go nowhere near each other. You've attacked each other during matches, post matches. I get it. You still want each other's blood. But tonight, touch each other, go near each other. 90-day suspensions, fines, and who knows what else. And as you can tell, thus far, we've had no incidents, but Rick Thames in the back now to keep an eye on the locker room.
And his opponent,
A lot of people have monikers in our sport like insane. And then there's people like John Strange who actually are insane, and it's not a moniker, it's an actual accurate description of John Strange. And that's not hyperbole once again, ladies and gentlemen. As Strange, unhinged, you never know where he's gonna come from. This is definitely gonna be a unique matchup here, having the talented Richard Adonis and of course the dangerous John Strange. Of course, during the intermission, ladies and gentlemen, I had Richard Adonis come up and corner me in a very intimidating moment where I was very unhappy to be alone. And he said, I heard you said Richard King earlier tonight, and yes, I owe an apology, but to be honest, that's probably because I missed the days of Richard King when he was a nice young man with a great attitude and a hell of a future. Now, truth be told, Adonis still has a hell of an attitude and a hell of a future, but the Silver Snake turning on the back of his running buddies, the Rapture, guys that were together for so long, upwards of 7 years, up and down the entire East Coast, all over our sport. When somebody does that to what's literally a brother from a different mother, it's just heinous in my eyes. And again, I apologize for my mistake, but when it comes to Richard Adonis, still, sky is the limit, and perhaps one day the young man will find himself. But if I'm John Strange, definitely need to be concerned about what Richard Adonis might be willing to do to win this matchup. Of course, John Strange is pretty much willing to destroy his body to win a matchup, so it's going to be a unique opportunity for Richard Adonis to show that he can not only face a guy his size, ooh, great escape there, and what a shock. The posing, the mocking, and the jaw-jacking. I think if Adonis is going to underestimate John Strange, a man who was WWN Proving Ground Champion for 140 days, Proving Ground Tag Team Champion, had a long relationship, of course, with Stevie Frick before he was sick. We've seen those two coming back at each other, as well as other members of the Emerald Empire and John Strange. But tonight, it's one-on-one between these two athletes. Hopefully we'll have no interference. It's my understanding the Emerald Empire, I believe, has left the building after having their effects on our Florida Heritage Championship match earlier. Strange now heading up to the top, known for the moonsault. He hits this early, could have been it, but no. Adonis gets out of the way, and been incredibly impressed, despite the attitude of the killer instinct we've seen, the aggression from Richard Adonis. And I've talked before him, fighting spirit with Pete Dunne, Grizzled Young Vets. You've noticed there's a lot more digit manipulation you'll see come from Adonis. Of course, that mean streak as well. Still impressed outside of the World Wrestling Network. Made it to the semifinals of the best of Combat Zone Wrestling, as there's just the choke in the corner. And I am mind blown to see Baby Keef in the booth. Baby, you had a heck of a match just moments ago with Blake Banks.
Hey, man. That man must have a lot of money and pay some good trainers, because he is one hell of an opponent. But you know your boy climbed to the top because I'm the highest in the building, and I had to walk away with the W.
Hey, I'll give it to you. Mega credit for being back in here and having your breath already caught to call this match with me. Always appreciate you coming to the booth. I guess you saw the opening and felt you needed to get in here.
I had to come in here. I had to jump in here, man. I couldn't let the WWN Proving Ground faithful, the WWN Live faithful, go without hearing me in the booth with my good guy.
Hey, always happy to have you, my friend. You can see the battle going on here. Adonis trying to out-finesse John Strange. And, of course, John Strange just pure offense, no concern for his own well-being, but might be knocked out.
Hey, you might can knock him down, but he's insane. So he has a motor like nobody else. Look at the look in his eye right now, looking dead at everybody through the camera, and he looked crazy, but that's just how normally insane John Strange looks.
That's the situation when it comes to John Strange. What a kick. Strange is one of those guys that a lot of times you say the lights don't look on, but it's not just because he's been damaged in the ring. The lights aren't on often for this man.
The lights are on, but I believe it's a candle lit because he knows at least slightly what he's going to do, and he's going to inflict pain on his opponent any way he can, even if it hurts himself, which kind of fuels him.
We've seen Alicia's battles here at FIP Established Dominance. Numerous times that John Strange thrives, weaponry gets involved. Really blood and guts type situation here, but Adonis, another one of these cases, Keef. Talented as the young man is, you see just the jaw jacking. Is it a mistake?
I would say so. With a guy like John Strange in the ring with you, you don't want to take too much time running your mouth, but the self-proclaimed Silver Snake, Richard Adonis, looks like he's in right where he wants to be as he's yelling and yapping and saying John Strange's face.
We're seeing the signs of life, and you can see right there, ladies and gentlemen, on June the 8th, WWN Supershow, Mercury Rising. We'll be right here at the OCC Road House. And you know John Strange, you know Richard Adonis. They want to be part of Mercury Rising on June the 8th in the crossbody, but the roll through by Keef, well done.
Oh,
3
my
count.
goodness.
That's it.
Here is your winner, the Silver Snake, Richard Adonis.
The last time I saw Richard Adonis, he was biting me in the neck, and I walked away with a rabies shot. But Richard Adonis right now is walking away with a win over the insane John Strange.
I am impressed. It was shock and all so quickly there. Rolling through a great counter, what you would have thought was the end of Adonis instead, ultimately backfired on John Strange. And it's what we were talking about when it happened out of nowhere. Again, WWN Supershow, Mercury Rising, June the 8th. These men are looking to make impressions. They're looking for the opportunity to be a part of Mercury Rising. And right now, unfortunately for John Strange, a rare loss, a rare defeat.
Rare indeed. This is a former dual champion. Simultaneously held the Proving Ground heavyweight title and the Proving Ground tag team titles. Insane John Strange isn't accustomed to being on the losing end, but as he's getting a round of applause, a standing ovation from the OCC Road House, he has no reason to have his head down. He should have it up high. Maybe not as high as me, but pretty high.
It was definitely a physical match, and we couldn't necessarily see that roll through. Couldn't quite tell if there was some tights being pulled there. It's one of those things when you look at it, the camera angle, I'd love to watch that back because the way John was stuck just seemed really just out of nowhere. And again, I hate to just introduce the possibility that Adonis may have bent the rules, but kind of curious about that one, Keith. You'll have to take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know. Hit us up on the socials, WWN Live, whether you're on Twitter or Instagram, but I think it's main event time. You want to send things down to Michael James?
Oh, yeah, let's get on to the main event. Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the main event. It is scheduled for one fall with a 60-minute time limit, and it is for the WWN Proving Ground Championship. Introducing first.
A big fight feel as we head into this main event. So since debuting out of the blue at the WWN Supershow Uprising, this man here, Salazar De La Muerte, has had his eyes tuned on Sage Scott and that WWN Proving Ground Championship. And finally tonight, they have the opportunity to go one-on-one in our main event.
In his opponent,
A1 since day one. Mr. A1 since day one. Mr. A1 since day one. Mr. A1 since day one.
Midnight Live. He hails from Kingston, California. By way of St. Petersburg, Florida. Weighing in at 225 pounds.
Wasting no time here. Salazar going right after Sage Scott, and we have seen these men brawl many times here. Of course, Salazar hurting Jake St. Patrick a few weeks ago before FIP established dominance, which ultimately cost Sage and Jake a matchup against the Metro Brothers. And Salazar been on a roll, even defeating you, baby Keith. Of course, that was a little bit of help with the atomic formula, but finally here, after months of really stalking, it's finally here. Heck, we saw it even at FIP. There was footage in the back. It was an interview between Sage and Jake St. Patrick, and there was Salazar watching choosing his time. And that's what we asked him. We said, what the hell are you doing, Salazar? And he said, I'm going to choose the time I get this opportunity. And when I do, I'm going to win this thing. And the way this is starting, baby,
These guys are starting off hotter than some hot cakes.
And as you just put it, them hot cakes, I think if anything, benefits Salazar. However, the champion proving me wrong quick, coming right after Salazar. And I don't mean to take anything away from Sage, but we've seen the brawls, we've seen the blood from Salazar, but the leg lariat could be it. Oh.
Salazar, since day one of being here, has made it perfectly clear that he wanted this exact opportunity right here. He did get a victory over me. He is the self-proclaimed executioner. It came with some shenanigans, but nonetheless, he definitely got the win to put him in place right here, right now, for a Proving Ground heavyweight title shot, and he's making it exactly what he wanted to be, and that is to dominate Sage right now, as he had dropped him with a big boot and then put a couple more boots to him, and the champion is in trouble.
Let's call a spade as every second of the 5 count being used there. Our new official, Gator Roberts, having a big, tall order, having to referee this main event. But when it comes to Salazar, this is a guy who this is an exaggeration, from the streets of Puerto Rico. Got in fights in the streets of Puerto Rico, and Sage from the streets of Compton. Got in fights with guys in the streets of Compton, both from nasty parts of town in their respective corners of the geography, if you will. Yeah. Of course, converging here today, and yes, I get it. Both have polished to become professional wrestlers, but I kind of feel like this is devolving into the streets. It's kind of the east side, west side going on, if you will, right now.
You can't say anything different when you got 2 guys who start before the bell even rings.
That's it. Salazar brought it right to Sage, but Sage was ready too. You saw Sage taking the gear off. I think Sage was going to charge in, and Salazar was the one.
This has been personal since day one, and I'm not trying to make a joke about Sage as Mr. A1 since day one. This has been personal since the very beginning. Salazar making his debut here, jumping the guardrail, attacking Sage, laying him out, hurting Sage's partner, Jake St. Patrick. These guys aren't just wrestling for the Proving Ground heavyweight title. These guys are fighting to beat each other down. This is business and it's personal. And what the heck, the ref?
And I don't think Sage meant to do that, coming in for the splash. But watch out, what is Salazar planning?
Is he about to swing the axe? Oh!
God, spinning forearm right to the face, and would be it, but there's no official.
3, 4, 5. Crowd's a little slow, but it doesn't matter. This could have been a 10 count. We could have had a new champion, but we got a new ref. Ref can't get in the ring. Oh my goodness. Oh,
2 count only.
2 count. Oh, the ref's coordination might have just cost Salazar the Proving Ground heavyweight title.
Jay Taylor got down there as quick as he could, and Salazar is now jaw-jacking the official, taking his eyes off.
Oh, here we go.
That roll-up. 2 count only, and you can't blame the official. Didn't even plan to be in this matchup, and that knee could be knocking out Sage. But let me remind you, there's a reason there was that long period of time the shoulders of Sage Scott was down. Sage was worried about the official that was taken out in that splash. And when he took his eyes off of Salazar, just like we're about to see again, took advantage of the opportunity coming in, and
oh my God!
Discus forearm knocks out Jay Taylor. We are 2 officials down. You got a ref shirt?
I don't got a ref shirt. I only got a headset to stay on commentary. I don't know what we're gonna do now. 2 refs down. Jay Taylor's laid out. Sage is standing up. Oh, champion and challenger going back and forth. Trevin, what is gonna happen? We got no official.
At this point, I really don't even know what to say because we've got no official. It's an absolute battle here. This was UFC. They might have stopped the fight.
Oh my God, these 2 combatants, these 2 warriors. Here comes Commissioner Rick Thames. Katie, get some type of control here.
Things are going haywire and Sage pushing.
No!
Oh, Rick Thames.
No way.
Rick is calling the match. Oh, man.
Rick Thames goes down. Sage is trying to choke out Salazar. We need some help. What the hell is going on?
And Rick is call in to get some help down there.
Some help from the back.
They're
Trevin,
still battling.
Trevin, I'm gonna try to go out there and help the situation.
Even Baby Keef leaving the locker room here, or should I say the broadcast position, to head out of the locker room and get down there to break things up. These two athletes, Salazar, Sage Scott. This was wild. The disorder, the disarray, the matchup just coming off the rails so quickly. One official taken out by mistake with a splash, one taken out with the forearm. Rick Thames comes out there to try to get things in control. Sage pushes off Rick. Now we continue to have a pull apart here that both our champion and our challenger want to get their hands on each other. A tumultuous ending here for WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem. I don't know what the hell we can do to stop these two. You hear Rick, our commissioner, trying to say, get these guys to the back. I don't know if we have enough talent here. And wait a minute, that's La Brava Escobar. La Brava Escobar jumping on the back of Sage Scott. She's ripping at his face, ripping at the eyes of the champion. I don't think anybody wants to touch her because she's a woman. You gotta get her off of him. What the hell is going on here? And now the belt, championship belt lays out. Sage Scott, how the hell did Salazar even get the belt? And La Brava Escobar, you know, we've mentioned this before. La Brava's been up here on commentary. Controversial ink, these two running buddies. And clearly coming together here tonight, leaving not just a...
This is my title now, Sage Scott.
What? Saying leaving not just the champion down, they're leaving with the damn belt. Where in the hell is this Vandal going, stealing the championship? Salazar De La Muerte is walking out of the building with a physical championship belt. You did not win this matchup. The matchup was thrown out, and Salazar, he's going out the front. You can see the man walking all the way out of the building. Great camera work there, but Sage Scott perhaps just finally coming to after getting hit in the head with the championship. This was an absolutely wild way, the turmoil to end things here on WWN Proving Ground. It's been a wild, wild night. You and I both know there's going to be hell to be paid. Stay tuned to all WWN Live social media. Got a cast of characters here in the booth. For Michael James, Chungus, Commissioner Rick Thames, Baby Keef, I'm Trevin Adams. Thanks for joining us, WWNLive.com, for all things World Wrestling Network. And you need to be here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, WWN Proving Ground Monday Night Mayhem. Hopefully we'll know more about what the hell's going on with Salazar running away with the WWN Proving Ground Championship.